Niche Authority. Learn how to create a niche website with this step-by-step process, created by someone who has done it themselves. Written by John Hawkins. Narrated by Sarah McInerney. Produced by Audio Vision Productions. Introduction and what you will learn. If you're interested in running a successful website or blog, then the niche you choose at the start is one of the single most important decisions you'll make. This one decision will impact everything from the design of your website to the type of content you write about the kind of visitor you attract. Even your potential monetization options will be decided at this point before you've even turned on your computer. And if you get it wrong, well, there's no such thing as a wrong niche. But suffice to say that some are far more lucrative than others, and some will be much harder to break into. Before you take any action in creating a blog or website, learn how to go about picking a niche that can work for you. What is a niche? Perhaps a good place to start is by explaining precisely what is meant by the term niche. Simply put, your niche is your subject matter for your blog. So if you're going to be writing about fitness, then fitness and health is your niche. If you're writing about making money online, you're in the business niche, or the make money online niche. The reason we use the term niche rather than topic is because the topics you cover might sometimes break out of your niche. For instance, you can write a post about going on holiday, and your site will still be a fitness niche. Likewise, the term niche is used because we've already suggested this decision will affect much more than just your subject matter. You can have no content whatsoever and still be a niche if you have a community site, for instance. At that time, your niche describes your topic, audience, products, design, and mission statement. If we look more specifically at what the word niche actually means, then this can shed a little light on the matter too. We get the definition: a specialized segment of the market for a particular kind of product or service. He believes he has found a niche in the market smaller cooperatives must find and develop a niche for their specialty product. This description makes sense for a blogger too, as it illustrates the fact that this is at least partly a business decision. Ideally, your niche should also unveil a niche in the market, meaning that you're meeting a demand that is as yet unfulfilled. Of course, this isn't something that every niche website needs to accomplish, but as you read on, you'll see there are definitely some parallels. Ideally, your niche will also provide you with access to some niches in the market. Statistics. Now you might be wondering why the best niche is even a question. Isn't it just a matter of looking at which niche is the most successful in terms of traffic and then picking that one? Well, as we'll see, there are many factors besides just traffic volume that are vital to consider. More to the point, though, even if you did just go with the most popular topic, you would likely find this isn't as clear-cut as it should be either. Why? Well, apart from anything else, many sites aren't so clear-cut in their niche to begin with. If you look at the most successful blogs across all niches, you have the Huffington Post, Boing TechCrunch, and Kettle. The biggest blogs aren't necessarily in the most popular niches when you look at volume across the web, and many bloggers don't openly share their traffic stats anyway. Looking at a survey conducted through Warrior Forum, popular blog topics include the making money niche, the health niche, and the dating niche, and the betting niche. While the stats may not paint a clear picture of the most popular niches, what we keep repeatedly seeing regarding this topic is just how important the choice of a niche is to your eventual success. What you will learn. Over the course of this book, you will learn what factors to consider when choosing a niche, how to research your chosen niche, how to ensure that the niche that you've picked is a fertile area to work in, how to find routes to market, how to identify the opportunity and genuine gaps in the market, how to monetize in any given niche, how to create entirely new niches of your own, how to ensure a steady stream of new content for your chosen subject, how to work in niches outside your comfort zone, and what to avoid when considering your niche. By the end, you should have a thorough understanding of what makes a niche suitable for blogging, and this will arm you to make the right choice for your business. Most importantly, you'll see how choosing the right niche can practically guarantee your success, as well as ensuring you actually enjoy the day-to-day process of maintaining your blog. Understanding and fully grasping this concept could well be the difference between years of struggle and instant success. Don't underestimate its importance. Chapter 1. How have you chosen your niches to date? A good place to start is looking at the position you find yourself in currently. In other words, how are you choosing niches now, and what has been your system for finding new subjects to cover so far? This is an important question because there's a good chance you're currently using the wrong strategy, and this may be limiting your potential to succeed. Avoid this common strategy. The most common strategy that you'll find new bloggers using in finding their niche is looking for the biggest niche in terms of audience and then starting to write in it. Unfortunately, this is one of the surest ways to make life as difficult as possible for yourself. An example of this might be to make a fitness blog. Fitness is a massive industry, and it applies to everyone. We've seen countless other blogs to find success in this area. It's a sure thing, right? Actually, no. The very fact that fitness is such a popular niche is why it's such a terrible choice for your first blog. If you're creating a blog in the fitness industry, you now must compete with thousands upon thousands of other blogs. Those include bodybuilding.com and Mark's Daily Apple. These have been around much longer and have far more resources to pour into marketing and brand visibility. When you write a post on how to get six-pack abs, you'll be competing with 100 million other articles on getting six-pack abs. How can you hope to stand out and get noticed? The same goes for finance and for other topics like dating. There's another problem too. Writing for the biggest niche will almost mean picking something that you're not already an expert on. Sure, anyone can write articles about sit-ups until someone injures their spine and blames you for it. And if you're writing about investment strategies, business management, or other complex topics, you may find that it's a lot harder to keep coming up with new material. This doesn't just mean that you're unlikely to stick to writing your blog because you find it boring. It also means that you're less likely to find more interesting and novel content, as you won't be up to date with the latest news in the industry, and you won't have full grasp on the subject. For this reason, people who simply pick popular niches to start their blogs are almost always disappointed to find that after several years of just plugging away on the same topic, they don't get anywhere, and then they give up. Chapter 2. Starting with self-interests. If you can't just pick the biggest niche, what do? Well, a popular piece of advice among writers is to write what you know. Granted, this advice is generally aimed at fiction and creative writers, but it definitely still applies here. What does this mean? It means write something that you have experience in, and write something that you enjoy and find interesting. In an ideal situation, you shouldn't view writing your blog as work at all. Rather, it should be something that you actually enjoy and look forward to. You should pick a topic or niche that's already a hobby or interest of yours. This will give you a head start, as you'll be bringing knowledge to the table. You'll know the subject, and you'll know what kind of content you like to see in it. Your blog will have a better chance at standing out and be of interest and unique in your field. More importantly, though, writing a blog on a subject you find interesting means it won't be a chore for you to keep updated. You'll likely fill it with a higher quantity of content and better quality at the same time. Your passion for the subject will keep you writing about it on a regular basis, and you'll sound enthusiastic about your content. Examples of blogs on personal interests. What might a blog on a personal interest look like? This is the part of the equation that a lot of advice and ebooks forget. It seems obvious to write on a niche that you enjoy, right? Just pick a hobby and make that into your blog. But here's the thing. A lot of us don't have traditional hobbies or interests. We're so busy working that we don't get much time to pursue a new language, travel, or learn computer programming. We don't know that much about finance, aren't in particularly good shape, and don't know how to cook very well. Maybe you spend your evenings watching TV and playing with the kids. So if you don't have a clear hobby or interest, how are you supposed to turn that into something you can write about? The trick is to realize that anything can make a good niche for a website, and it doesn't have to be something that you would consider a hobby or pastime, in the traditional sense. For instance, let's say that you enjoy the computer game Sonic the Hedgehog. That's not something you'd proudly announce at a party as your hobby, but that's not to say it can't make a great niche for a website. The same goes if you love the shows Doctor Who, Come Dine With Me, or The Office. Fan websites do brilliantly because there's something that a lot of people know about and are very passionate about. What's more, fan websites provide obvious routes to market, and they don't face too much competition and have a steady supply of new stories and options for material. In other words, a fan website is perfect. Once you choose your topic, you just have to find an existing subreddit or group on Facebook, Google+, announce it, and then watch the fans flock there. You might even be able to get some support from the official makers. The same goes for a sports team. Sports teams are fantastic niches because, again, there are many passionate people interested in the subject and plenty of opportunities to promote yourself. How about the next game's program, for instance? If you don't have something like that, then you can look to your daily life. You could write a personal blog about being a mother, looking after an elderly relative, or even about your dog. You can also look at personal experiences. Where have you traveled? What have you studied? Combining a niche with a personal brand. There's also a lot to be said for inventing new niches. You can do this by looking at who you are, as someone a little more complex than a person who just enjoys one topic. You are a unique individual, and you probably have a unique perspective and take on the subject that you're covering. If you want to make a personal brand for your blog or website, then why not tap into that and create a whole new niche that only you could write? This might sound confusing, but here are some examples. The website Nerd Fitness, for instance, is highly popular despite not neatly fitting into one category. Instead, it works by combining two separate niches, nerd culture and fitness. This creates something entirely new and focuses on the things that the blogger is interested in. He's then put himself at the heart of that topic. Another example is the art of manliness. This is an entirely new niche that you won't see listed on any guide to top website topics, and it revolves entirely around what the author finds interesting. This makes the art of manliness much more than just a standard website with a standard niche. It is now elevated to the point where it can be thought of as a movement or a way of life. So if you don't have one hobby, even a less obvious one is taking a long look at who you are, what you're really interested in, and what you can offer that no one else can. Think about your personality and how you can cover an old topic in a new and interesting manner. Chapter 3. Tapping into your love of learning. There's one more option for those of you who might not have obvious topics in mind yet, and that's to learn something new. So, you have no area of expertise and no hobby or skill. That's fine. Most people don't, but you must have things that you find interesting, ways you'd like to improve, and things you'd like to learn. Therefore, you can create an exciting blog around the idea that you're learning the new subject and sharing what you're learning at the same time. Wish you were a hacker? Then why not learn hacking and write about your experiences as you learn? Wish you could speak another language? Why not share your progress and provide tips for your audience along the way? Why listen to a learner? Now, you might be wondering why someone would want to read advice if you're not an expert of any kind in your given subject. What could you possibly have to offer? This is a short-sighted view, though. Writing as a learner has the advantage of ensuring that you don't scare your audience away with jargon. Often, learners make the best teachers because they find it much easier to put themselves in the shoes of the people they're trying to teach. What's more, this gives your content an interesting narrative as you discuss your learning journey along the way. This gives your content more of a personal touch and can be fun for your readers. There's another advantage to writing as a learner, too. You will have an easier time. The problem with teaching as an expert is that a lot of other experts are going to be watching you and waiting for you to fail. If you're a fitness writer and you suggest a move that might open the rotator cuff just a little too much, you can bet that the more knowledgeable portion of the fitness community will come down on you like a ton of bricks. If you're writing about the brain and you get your white matter and gray matter mixed up, then you can end up as the laughing stock of Read It. If you write as a learner, then you're admitting that you're not an expert on the subject. you're likely to make mistakes, and you're still learning on the job. As a result, people will be more patient and sympathetic with you, and you will have more license to write freely without fear of criticism. An example of a highly successful blog is The Personal MBA. This blog was the pet project of Josh Kaufman, who started it in order to take notes on his progress learning about business. He wanted to undertake an MBA, but didn't have the time or money to do so. Thus, he wanted to see if he could learn all the principles taught on such a course, and kept his blog as kind of a repository of information for his own reference. In doing so, he created a fantastic resource for entrepreneurs and would-be businessmen and women. The result was a highly popular site and eventually a book deal. Ironically, this became his business. This story might inspire you to approach a new topic and give it a unique angle as Josh did. At the same time, it also shows us another advantage. In choosing something that you want to learn about, and the resources to help you aren't out there, there's a very good chance that other people will feel the same way. Build a blog for yourself, and you'll be building it for other people too. This is what some people refer to as scratching your own itch. Personal growth. Of course, this doesn't only apply to learning an actual topic. You can take the new to the field or more general growth approaches too. Fitness blogs are often popular when you start off with the aim of losing X amount of weight. Someone who's overweight would likely find it reassuring to read your exploits rather than hear advice from someone who has abs on their abs. Likewise, you can run blogs on general personal growth. Why not talk about how you've set out to become a better or more confident person? This is essentially what the art of manliness or nerd fitness is, with an extra personal touch. Chapter 4. Go where the money is. This is great, but at some point you still need to think about the money. As with the design stage of any product, it's important to see if there's an audience out there before you invest too much time and effort building your site and producing content. Therefore, you need to think about how you'll monetize and whether the niche you're thinking of will support the business model that you have in mind. Some niches vary drastically in terms of profitability, so this is a skill you should learn early on. What makes a niche profitable? So, what makes a niche profitable? To understand this fully, you need to think about the options available for monetization. One of these is advertising. Placing Google AdSense or banner ads on your website. This is actually the least profitable form of monetization because you'll be sending your visitors away from your site every time they click on an ad. What's more, you should consider if those advertisers are willing to pay for your traffic, they must have a way to make more money from them than you are. How are they making money? Most likely it's by selling something. If they are selling something, then they'll be able to keep the lion's share of the profit from each visitor while at the same time keeping them engaged with their brand. This is what you should be aiming to do from your site, at least eventually. You can do this either by creating a digital product of your own, such as an ebook, or by selling a product that you didn't create, like an affiliate product. Services are also an option. Next, you need to consider some niches that lend themselves to products that you can sell much more easily than others. This will impact your advertising fee as well. If there's nothing for your advertisers to sell in your niche, then they won't be willing to pay very much to appear on your website. The most profitable niches are definitely those that have many things to sell. This is where picking a niche like Sonic the Hedgehog isn't quite so good. After all, Sonic the Hedgehog is a trademark of Sega. This means that you can't sell your own Sonic the Hedgehog merchandise, and the best you might get away with is a guidebook, which isn't going to fetch a ton of cash. At the same time, other advertisers aren't really going to want to advertise on your website either. You'll be able to get ads from Google AdSense, but they might not be very relevant. They'll probably be from companies like Amazon or other game manufacturers. This means they won't get clicked that often, and it means you won't earn much money from them at all. What's more, because they won't be selling any high-ticket items themselves, they won't be able to pay out huge amounts for those clicks you're getting them. This is the kind of thing you need to be thinking about when you're coming up with your niche. Of course, you can still make money from Sonic the Hedgehog blogs or other fan sites, but it's going to be much harder compared with some other niches, and you might want to think hard to come up with some kind of a plan first. Some high-earning niches to consider. One of the most obvious reasons a niche might be high-earning is that it offers a form of investment for the customers. So let's say you have a blog on investing. This is something that people will be willing to pay to learn about, because they should be able to earn more money from that knowledge than they spent to acquire it. The same thing goes for something like business, like the personal MBA. People spend thousands on online courses to learn how to make money from websites. Why? Because in theory, they'll earn that money back. The other type of niche that is likely to be very profitable is any that promises to change your viewers' lives in a very measurable way. Here, you want to think about your value proposition, or how you're making people's lives better. This is why fitness is such a great niche to be in from a profitability standpoint. People are willing to spend a lot more money on fitness books or workout equipment because they believe that they'll develop abs, biceps, and tone their buttocks. This, in turn, can lead to them living longer, being more confident, having more luck with the opposite sex, looking better in clothes, and more. To most people, this is a highly tempting prospect, and one they'd be more than happy to spend a lot of money on. A similar example of this is dating. Dating is something many of us feel very strongly about, so if you write about that, you can learn a lot. Of course, other things are simply desirable. In this case, the higher the ticket item you're selling, the more you can potentially earn from your site. So if you're writing about sports cars, you have the potential to earn a lot of cash. This is why travel blogs can earn a lot of money, because they appeal to travel agents and sites like Triage or Expedia for advertising. If your niche isn't profitable, as in, it doesn't have a tempting value proposition or the promise of investment or high ticket items, then you just need to get a little more creative. Creativity can benefit you anyway. For instance, maybe your plan is to make money by helping people find hotels to stay in so that you can earn the commission. Maybe your plan is to build the site up and then branch out and extend into other areas. Or perhaps you're just going to sell the site once it gets to a certain size. Whatever you decide, just make sure you've thought all of this through before you go ahead. Profitability and your target audience. Something else to think about is the type of audience that you're going to get, writing on a particular subject, or your demographic, to use the correct verbiage. Even if your niche is potentially profitable, you need to consider the possibility that it might not earn as much as it should if your audience doesn't have any disposable income. If you're writing about computer games, then there's a good chance that your demographic might be somewhat younger, at least a large portion of it. This means they may not have as much money to spend as an older audience. This also happens to be the reason that the Silver Surfer audience is so popular at the moment, pensioners on the web, as they tend to have a lot of disposable income. Profitability and evergreen sites. Another thing to think about is whether the niche you've chosen is always going to be profitable. The point you need to keep in mind is that some things will just be fads and others will be long-lasting. Likewise, some topics will lend themselves to more evergreen content. This is something you need to consider with a fan site again. If your fan site is about something new that is currently in the public eye, a recent film or book, for instance, then you may struggle to find an audience once that particular interest falls out of favor. If your fan site is about something new that is currently in the public eye, a recent film or book, for instance, then you may struggle to find an audience once that particular interest falls out of favor. Likewise, even if the topic you're writing about has a hardcore fan base that sticks by it for a long time, you might still find it difficult to write evergreen content that people can read in 10 years' time. Let's say, for instance, that you're running a site about Star Trek, and you write a piece on your predictions for the third movie that's about to come out. In doing so, you've instantly dated that piece of content, and if people find it again in 10 years, it's not going to be relevant or interesting to them. News sites struggle with this problem, as do tech sites and more. This is another advantage of a fitness site. It stays evergreen, rather than the trends that just come and go. Note that trends and fads can also mean movements, like CrossFit or Bikram yoga. Even diets like the paleo diet will eventually likely fall out of favor. This isn't to say that you can't potentially make a lot of money from a fad in the meantime, if you want to get in and out quickly. Better yet, if you can anticipate an upcoming trend or fad then you can stand to earn a lot of money before there's even any competition. Unfortunately, no single niche has it all. Whatever you pick, you will be making some compromises. Chapter 5. Zeroing in on a certain demographic. In the last chapter, we touched on some ideas that we're going to investigate in a little more detail here. Specifically, we spoke about the fact that some demographics have more disposable income than others, and that some people are more likely to spend money too. Thinking about your audience is an entirely different approach to your niche selection and can be an interesting way to come up with a topic to cover. Shrinking your audience. If you choose to operate in a large niche like fitness, then you'll likely find that you struggle to stand out and compete with the other blogs out there. We've discussed this already. Fortunately, there are some ways that you can have your cake and eat it too. One option is to take a broad category, but aim your blog at a very specific niche. For instance, fitness over 50. Or maybe parenting for people who work from home. This is again very similar to the aforementioned nerd fitness. Honing in on a small target audience is a great way to make your blog stand out, and it creates some great opportunities for marketing and promotion because now you have a specific crowd that you can appeal to and a number of ways that you can reach out to them. This way, you go from being a small fish in a big pond to a big fish in a small pond. What demographic-based slants are there that you can pick from? Here are just a few ideas that might get you started. Location-based slants. LA, London. Age, gender. Illnesses, fitness for diabetics. Interests, fitness for the fashion-conscious. Careers, sexuality. Religion, Christian blogs are very popular. And of course, there are many more, so get creative. Choosing your audience. Of course, any niche you choose is going to affect the type of audience that you end up writing for. Some topics will naturally appeal to older or younger readers. Some will appeal to one gender more than the other, etc. This is just one more reason that you need to think carefully when selecting your niche. As stated before, no niche has it all, and one that is highly profitable won't necessarily have the best demographic. To provide the best guidance in selecting your niche, let's consider what makes a great target audience. Here are some considerations. Passion and commitment to the subject. Here's where something like a football team is ideal. Free time, meaning they have more spare time to spend on your site. Disposable income, so that they can spend more money on your products. Personality. You want them to be friendly participants in your community. Impulsivity, or at least a willingness to spend money on products. So ask yourself, what type of audience meets all of those criteria? As I mentioned, the Silver Surfer is a demographic that's very popular at the moment, mainly because they have a lot of spare time and a lot of disposable income. This means they're more likely to spend a lot of time on your site and to spend money on the products and services that you're offering. A site that does this well is called Writer's News. This is a site about the hobby of writing that appeals to a lot of older women. These women spend a lot of time on the forum and generate a huge amount of user-generated content, which has big earning potential. But then again, Silver Surfers are also less than ideal in some other ways. For instance, they're likely in a happy relationship, they're probably retired, and they might not have quite the same interest in spending money on new computers, holidays, or books on fitness. So consider every aspect of the target audience you'll be reaching before you finalize your niche. Chapter 6. Is your niche content rich? We've looked at whether a niche has evergreen content or not, but how about content? Of course, any subject matter is going to have something to write about, but it sure is easier in some areas than others. You'll want to find a topic that is still active and is still evolving. This way, there will be consistently new things that you can discuss. Ideally, you'll want new topics that will remain evergreen. In some ways, this makes fitness or bodybuilding less than ideal. After all, not much tends to change in the world of bodybuilding or fitness from one month to the next. Push-ups will always work your pecs, and sit-ups will always work your abs. But there are only so many types of exercises for each body part that you can write about. So how do websites on this topic overcome that limitation? One method is looking at studies and researching topics to find new ways to train with new suggestions. For instance, a study might come out showing that slow curls can lead to hyperplasia, the growth of new muscle cells. This then is a great new article in the making. And what's even better is that it should remain relevant if subsequent studies don't reveal the information to be incorrect. Still, this is an area that's going to involve a lot of reading to stay up to date, and it's not very easy. Technology, on the other hand, has lots going on, and lots of new information. It's just a shame that a lot of it won't remain evergreen. This is just another reason that learning a new subject can be a useful strategy. This way you can share what you learn as you learn it. It is news as far as you're concerned, and as far as your audience is concerned also. At the same time, as long as what you learned was accurate, it should still be useful information, even when someone reads it 10 years later. Make sure, then, that even when you feel that you're something of an expert in your field, you keep on learning and keep on absorbing new information. This is another scenario where a broad subject comes in handy. The Art of Manliness blog, for example, is a blog that covers anything that could be considered manly. This includes working out, making conversation at work, trimming your beard, shaking hands, smoking cigars, and drinking whiskey. There are literally hundreds of different topics available that will still be within this niche. Even if you don't choose to go as broad, consider giving your niche something a little different, just so you'll have more original content. And remember, if what you're writing has been done 1,000,000 times before, then you may as well not bother. Researching your niche and coming up with topics. Once you have your niche, it's a skill to keep coming up with new topics and new articles to write about. In order to do this, you'll need to make sure that you have as much input as possible. In other words, the more you keep learning about your subject, the more information you'll have to recommend and make into new topics. What's more, providing yourself with lots of information from other blogs and magazines will hopefully inspire you to come up with topics that perform well. So where can you get this inspiration and this information? A few good examples include other websites, magazines, books, podcasts, YouTube. Don't just follow the exact formula of posts and other media, though. If you do this, then yours will be unoriginal and likely derivative. Instead, think about ways you can learn from the nature of the article, rather than copying the specifics. So if you like the way one article combined two topics, how about combining two different topics? Or, if the article had a unique structure, how about applying that structure to something else? It can also pay to read about things that aren't related to your niche at all, or that are vaguely related. This can give you ideas that you can apply to your own topic, or it can give you more opportunities to combine topics and come up with something new. For instance, reading about parkour, you might find that you're able to come up with a new fitness topic, leg training for free runners. Or maybe if you have a coding website and you're reading about nutrition, you could write about which foods can support healthy brain function for a coder. How about decor? The more you read, the better your writing will be and the more ideas you'll have. It's that straightforward. Another tip is to make sure you keep your eyes open for new topics and you do more research to discover new ideas. So, for instance, if you're reading about nutrition, you might see the mention of a particular amino acid or particular nutrient. If you haven't heard of it before, then perhaps you could research that. Maybe it has some unique properties that many people don't know about. Maybe it can be found in a particular food item. Maybe you could come up with a recipe around that. Sometimes new ideas come just when you ask a question. Why is it that you can't rip that piece of paper in half 7 times? Why do we sneeze? Do your own research and follow your own inquisition. If you're thinking about it, then other people might be too. Finally, don't be afraid to go straight to the source for breaking news and ideas. Go to expos in your niche. Watch the games live if you're writing about sports. Check the patents if you're writing about technology. Even consider calling someone up high in an organization to get the scoop. Or what about looking at press release sites to hear news straight from big companies? Chapter 7. Is it click-worthy? We've already asked you whether you'll be able to get high payouts from niches and whether there'll be many advertisers operating in your niche. But another question to ask here is whether the topic you're looking at is click-worthy. In other words, is it likely to garner clicks, resulting in payouts from those advertisers? Again, you'll be looking at many of the same factors to answer this question. The most click-worthy topics are likely to be those that have a clear value proposition or have the potential to help your visitors earn money. This isn't a strict requirement necessarily, though. Interestingly, the niches that are the most popular online are the ones that have the most adverts, and that in turn makes them even more popular. Thus, all the big common niches such as fitness, dating, making money online, etc., all have opportunity to make money from AdSense. We've seen that creating a blog in these niches also has its downsides. So what's the answer? One option is to create a combined niche, as we've discussed previously. Likewise, you can do one-off posts that combine more than one topic. For instance, if you were to make a blog on martial arts, relatively low clicking potential, you could write posts on fitness, higher click potential. On the other hand, make a blog on fitness for entrepreneurs, and you could then have advertisements from both those categories, sending your click potential through the roof. Researching the market. How do you know that your niche is potentially profitable with lots of click-worthy ads available? One way is to simply do market research before you dive in head first. And the best way to do that is to look at the competition often. When you're browsing other websites, which ones seem to have the best quality and quantity of relevant ads? Which niches are being discussed as the profitable options on Warrior Forum and other blogs? Another thing to think about when you're looking at AdSense are the keywords. If you use Google's keyword tool, you'll be able to see which search terms are the most popular and which have the most advertisers on AdWords, advertising that goes directly on Google as opposed to other websites. While it doesn't always follow, this generally is a good indication that a niche might be profitable and have lots of advertisers in it. Does it matter? We've discussed earlier in this book that advertisements really aren't the most profitable way to monetize a website, so why does it matter at all? First, it pays to give yourself as many options as possible, rather than limit your earning options. Remember also that AdSense is incredibly quick and simple to set up, meaning that you can have a blog that's earning money in weeks, assuming you get the traffic. More importantly, though, the clickability of a niche is a very good indicator that there's money to be made there and that it's worth your time in this area. Chapter 8. Digital Product Affiliate Promotion Potential. If you're not going to be relying on advertisements, what other options do you have for monetization? One of the most profitable and easiest to get into is affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing, as you probably know, means selling products that you did not create and do not own. For instance, if someone created an ebook or online course, you could then promote that product using a link and get paid a percentage of the profit every time that someone bought it. Sometimes this percentage can be anything up to 60% of the price. How can creators afford to pay so much? Simple. They want your help promoting their product, and anything you help them sell is going to be extra, on top of what they would have managed on their own. In other words, even if they only got 10%, that would still be more than what they'd have gotten without your help. They're willing to offer a high percentage because it's all extra, and because this will then encourage people to promote their products instead of different ones. The great thing about digital products like ebooks is that they have zero overhead. They don't require any materials to create, they don't need storage, and delivery is free. Selling digital products as an affiliate is a brilliant way to make money because you get a large chunk of cash for selling something that you didn't have to make. This means you don't need to waste time creating a product that might not sell. When you choose your affiliate product, you can ensure you pick something that has already been shown to sell well. And you don't need to spend money outsourcing or technical skills of your own. It's an entirely risk-free business model with zero overhead and no skill set required. Finding a niche for digital affiliate products. So, the question then becomes, which niches are best for selling a digital product as an affiliate? If you consider that digital products are mainly information products, This means that you need to pick an area where information is at a premium. In other words, you need a subject where people are very eager to learn and will pay for that information. This excludes several different niches. For instance, the fan niche. Seeing as most people probably wouldn't be willing to pay much to hear your opinion on a new film or comic, likewise, it excludes smaller niches where a lot of information is freely available. Again, the heavy hitters are things like fitness, business, dating, and other areas where you can teach someone a skill that will improve their lives in a profound way. Ask yourself this: if you had to create a piece of text that would promote and sell a book in this niche, how would you go about making it sound like something people would have to buy? If it was a fitness book, it might start with something like this. Hey you, are you tired of training programs that don't work? Are you tired of feeling tired, flabby, and unattractive? What if I told you there was a way that you could get a shredded midsection and strong arms in just 5 weeks? Likewise, if you were trying to sell an ebook about making money, you might start it with something like this. If you've been dreaming of escaping the rat race and finally earning the sort of money you feel you deserve, then keep reading. This is a way that anyone can make money online, and it's surprisingly simple. This isn't a get-rich scheme. It's just a smart business model that happens to be. Sounds good, right? On both counts? We all want abs, and we all want money. So these are easy value propositions to sell. Remember that phrase? On the other hand, if you have a book on neuroscience, you might find that this topic is a little harder to sell products. So, one way to see if your niche is good for affiliate marketing is just to think, how would you go about pitching a book in this subject? If you can't think of a strong opener, then perhaps you should look elsewhere. Skills and hobbies. Note that there is another way to make an ebook must-have, which is to sell something that a select group will need. For instance, if you happen to know how to set up a restaurant like the back of your hand, then you can find an ebook on this and make it a must-have for chefs who want to set up their own business. If you can find a book on stage lighting, then there will be a lot of stage lighters out there who potentially will be interested in buying. Remember again all the things we talked about regarding what makes a great demographic. Do stage lighters have a lot of disposable income? Are they likely to spend a lot of time online, to read ebooks? This is something that's worth researching. Of course, if you pick a smaller niche like this, then you have a smaller potential audience, but you also have more marketing opportunities and less competition. Another challenge as an affiliate marketer is going to be finding products to sell. If you want to go this route, then you might want to consider creating your own product. We'll be looking at this in the last chapter, so keep reading. Meanwhile, you can get the best of both worlds by finding a way to introduce one demographic to products from a broader niche. Sometimes it's just a matter of finding a group with easy routes to market, and then convincing them that they need something that perhaps they didn't realize. For instance, you can take that neuroscience ebook and you can introduce it to a group interested in self-help. Likewise, you can take a fitness book and introduce it to bloggers. Big affiliate networks. Another way to know whether a niche works for selling digital products as an affiliate is to research what's currently offered and look at the big 3 affiliate networks. If you find a niche that has a lot of products available, then you'll be able to choose the ones you think will sell more easily, and you'll be able to keep a steady stream of new products coming. Keep in mind, you don't want to just sell to each of your fans once. Ideally, you'll be aiming to create a large list of fans on your email list so you can message them with new products on a regular basis. This also means you need to pick the best products you can find to ensure that you maintain that trust. JVZoo, www.jvzoo.com. This is one of the oldest and largest affiliate networks. It has higher fees than some others and a somewhat untidy interface, but it also has a lot to offer in terms of the range of products available. JVZoo is one of the most popular affiliate networks currently. It has a lot of products, a slick and simple interface, and low fees, though not as low as Warrior Forum. Tip: think about bonuses that you can offer for your buyers. Warrior Forum. Warrior Special Offers, or WSO, is a section of the popular Warrior Forum. This is a community for digital marketers and bloggers. This section allows you to sell or find digital products, and you can normally get a pretty good idea of the niche just by reading the heading. A lot in here is the Make Money niche. Look at all three of these affiliate networks and browse by niche. You should quickly get a good idea of where the action is. Chapter 9. Think in terms of tangible affiliate profits. While digital products have a lot of benefits, physical objects or tangibles also had their advantages. This is particularly true for demographics who are not yet used to spending money on things they can't physically hold in their hands. Older audiences and audiences less tech-savvy will be far more inclined to buy things that they get to keep, as well as those who are less inclined to read or learn, which most digital products revolve around. The niches that appeal to these kind of visitors will also lend themselves more to selling real products. The same is true for niches that are directly related to specific products or tools. When it comes to selling physical products online as an affiliate, one site will mostly spring to mind: Amazon. Amazon has a great affiliate system that lets you sell anything that you can find on their site, the only caveat being that your share will be much smaller than it would be on JVZoo or WSO. When thinking about your niche, think about whether you could sell physical products here. This is a great way to monetize the fan niche, for instance, as you can sell related merchandise without needing the rights yourself. There are other sites that offer the opportunity to make money from physical products too. Examples include ShareASale, www.shareasale.com, and Commission Junction, www.cj.com, where you can also find digital products. When you use this strategy, you essentially turn your blog or website into a store, in the same manner as a brick-and-mortar store. This then means you can sell anything that you might sell in the real world. Bear in mind, you don't have to stick purely to one niche. As with real stores, you can easily sell multiple different products that aren't directly related to one another. Chapter 10. Is there room for you to launch products? Selling affiliate products that are either physical or digital is one very good way to quickly start making a lot of profit with no need to create something of your own. However, if you're looking for the single most profitable monetization option available, then creating your own product is the best option. This way, you'll get 100% of the profit instead of just a small percentage. What's more, with your own product, you'll be able to keep your visitors completely engaged with your brand, and you'll be able to find other affiliates to help bring more traffic to you instead of doing that for someone else. Creating a product doesn't have to be as hard as you think either. There's nothing to stop you from simply outsourcing the whole process. So if you want an ebook written, this might just mean paying a writer. Want to sell an app? Hire a programmer from a site like Upwork. Of course, if you can write or program yourself, then you can always create your own product. You might even want to get ambitious and create a tangible product of your own, maybe using 3D printing. Whatever you decide, creating either your own or line product is a great endpoint to have in mind when you're creating your blog and coming up with your business model. It's a good idea to ensure there's room in your niche for a new product before you begin. Considering whether there's space for your product. So how do you decide that the niche you're considering is one you could create a product in? This basically comes down to doing market research, just like you would with any product manufacturer. That means asking whether there's an audience for what you're thinking of selling and whether there's potentially too much competition. An example of a niche where there's a huge audience would again be one with a broad appeal and an obvious value proposition. Fitness or business provide plenty of opportunities to sell information in the form of courses, ebooks, or reports. At the same time, this is also an area with a lot of stiff competition. You only need to look at Facebook to see countless advertisements for ebooks on fitness or making money online. The question you have to ask here is whether you can compete and whether you can offer something new. If not, you may be better off selling a product as an affiliate. That said, it's important to be optimistic, and with the right product or the right slant, it is possible to compete even in a crowded market. You just need to do something new. You can also use the same approach we used earlier to find smaller niches within bigger ones. instead of making a fitness ebook, you could make a fitness ebook for a certain age group or social group. To research what's currently available in your niche and to get ideas, you can again browse affiliate networks to see the products being sold, or you can look at other sites in your niche. How are they monetizing? What is working and not working? What tricks have they missed? Products for smaller niches. On the other hand, there are also smaller niches. For example, the ones we mentioned earlier that correspond to specific careers or skills, like creating a product for stage lighting professionals. This might be a unique niche to fill. In this scenario, creating a unique product is perfect. You've found your specific niche and hopefully a way to market to them. All you need to do now is create something you can sell to them. Again, this allows you to focus on your strengths and your personal expertise, and that's how you can really provide value. When you create your own product, though, you'll be taking a big risk. You'll be investing a lot of time, money, or both, creating something new that you have no guarantee will sell. The worst-case scenario is that you spend all your time creating something new, only to find out the audience isn't there, or your product isn't going to sell. This is even more of a risk if you're selecting the niche for your blog entirely on the basis that this new product is going to sell. Before you select your niche on this basis, consider trying something called validating your product. Validating your product. To avoid a situation where you're putting all your eggs in one basket before you have any guarantee that you've bet on a winning horse, you can use a process called validation to ensure that the market is there for what you're selling. Essentially, all you're going to do is a practice run, as though you were selling your product, and then see how many imaginary sales you can rack up. If the number is high, you can go ahead and invest the time, money, and energy into creating the product. If not, then you know not to waste your time, and you can start thinking about alternate niches and products. To do this, simply create a landing page promoting your product and describing it as though it were real. At the bottom, explain the price. This is important to get a true idea of how in demand your product is. And then add your Buy Now button. But instead of taking your customers' money, the Buy Now button will take them to a Coming Soon page where you'll tell them that your product isn't quite ready yet. Just one warning, this method may make some customers upset, but you're simply saving yourself time and money to know for sure that it's something that your audience really wants. You'll add a little script to count how many unique visitors make it this far, and in doing so you'll be able to get a picture of how many people would have made that purchase if you really had something for sale there. This is the perfect strategy because it lets you see how many products you can potentially sell before you've created anything. If 10% of your visitors make it to the Coming Soon page, then you know you have a winner on your hands, and it's worth going ahead with the product and niche site. On the other hand, if no one goes there, you can head back to the drawing board. This strategy works even better if you collect emails as leads from the Coming Soon page, or if you let people pre-order. This way, you can start making money even before you create your blog, completely removing any possibility of it not working out. Conclusion and summary. So, there you have it. Over the course of this audio book, you should have learned pretty much everything you need to consider when choosing a niche for your blog. And hopefully, you'll also realize just how big a deal this is and why it's so important. If you used to think niche just meant fitness, dating, or making money, then hopefully you'll see now that this was a very narrow view of what the term could mean. You'll also see that approaching your blog like this would make it much harder to start making money quickly. Instead, you should be aiming to pick a niche that gives you access to the right demographic. You should choose a niche that you find fascinating. And you should also be creating unique variations on popular topics in order to stand out with your own brand. When you do this, you'll find it's much easier to start making money quickly by introducing good products to an audience that otherwise wouldn't have found them. Some strategies you can take directly from this book include creating a blog that focuses on a small aspect of a larger topic, such as fitness over 50, creating a fan site for a TV show, computer game, or anything else, and promoting it on social media and selling tangible merchandise as an affiliate, creating a blog that's entirely new by combining things you find interesting, then tying it together with a cool brand, learning a new subject and writing about it as you go. Then sell an ebook that teaches the specific skill or career that you're learning. Better yet, you can use the skills you've learned to come up with your own unique niche and business model. You should now be able to come up with new and more novel niche ideas. Identify the niches with biggest potential to create new, evergreen content. Find niches that provide a broad appeal without facing too much competition. See which niches are the most profitable in terms of advertising. Understand when a niche is right for a particular monetization model. Test the viability of a product within a certain niche before going ahead, and much more. Most importantly, you should recognize that choosing your niche also means choosing your audience and business model. Don't blindly stumble into the topic that you think there is the most money to be made. Instead, think about how you're going to make money and what you have to offer. Then create a concrete business plan within that subject area. If you get this right, it can be a quick and easy process to conquer your market and start making good money. Good luck. About the author. John's skills within the IT industry have propelled him into many different online businesses, including book publishing, affiliate marketing, ClickBank product launch, niche business sites, and SEO work. He helps people to make money working through the internet. John is also a budding author, with self-help being his favorite genre. His titles to date include Affiliate Marketing Blueprint, Facebook Marketing Mastery, YouTube Marketing 101, ClickBank Success Secret, AdSense Cash Cow, Ultimate Passive Income, Email Marketing Secret, CPA Marketing Success Secret, Career in Freelancing, Blogging Success, and many more. He plans to follow these with even more titles in the future to help as many people as he can find the same success that he has. If you have any questions regarding internet marketing or online business, or need any help, please feel free to send John an email at johnhawkinsplanet@gmail.com. This has been Niche Authority. Learn how to create a niche website with this step-by-step process created by someone who has done it themselves. Written by John Hawkins. Narrated by Sarah McInerney. Produced by Audio Vision Productions. Copyright 2018 by John Hawkins. Production copyright 2019 by John Hawkins.